Naša sljedeća predavačica je gospođa Željka Markić.
A very renowned witness among the Croatians. She is married. She has 4 children, 4 sons. Her occupation is a medical doctor. And she has the initiatives in the name of families that 4 or 5 months ago have collected 750,000 signatures to stop the referendum of union of marriage between 2 men or 2 women. Jelica, please share your experience with us.
Jako mi je drago ponovno biti u Medjugorju.
I'm so happy to be in Medjugorje again.
Odličnog poljskog repera.
I was very happy to hear the Polish rap. I liked it a lot.
Ono što smo čuli u njegovom svjedočanstvu.
I would like to summarize what I heard in his testimony. From what he has said, I have understood.
Ja sam iz Hrvatske.
I'm from Croatia,
Poljski narod.
and in Croatia we love the Polish,
Samo zato što nam je dao papu kakav je bio Ivan Pavao II.
not only because they gave us the Pope John Paul II as he was.
Iz prethodnog izlaganja ja sam čula 3 stvari.
From the witness that was just given, I heard 3 things. First, Christ is King.
Druga je,
The second,
je cool.
Medjugorje is cool.
Treća je, mame
Third,
slušati.
you have to listen to moms.
Jako mi je drago da su tu sa mnom naša 4 sina, da su to čuli i na
I'm
poljskom.
very happy that my 4 sons are here and they are able to hear this also in Polish.
Ja sam prvi puta u Medjugorju bila,
For the first time, I was in Medjugorje more than 25 years ago.
tada sam kao i mnogi među vama,
Then, like many of you,
bila student,
I was a student.
bila sam medicinu.
I was studying medicine.
U to je vrijeme Medjugorje se nalazilo u zemlji koja se zvala Jugoslavija.
At that time, Medjugorje was in a country that was called Yugoslavia,
Totalitarni sustav koji se zvao
where a totalitarian system was in power called communism.
prijateljicu
I came here with my friend
iz Zagreba kako bih vidjela
from Zagreb
ovdje došla.
to see what was happening here.
Tom prilikom sam doživjela stvarno čudo.
On that occasion, I really experienced a miracle.
Prijateljica koja se 5 godina nije
That was that my friend, who did not confess for 5 years or receive communion for 5 years,
ovdje vani klekla,
knelt outside here
da mi je to najavila bez da išta o tome sam
without saying anything to me about it.
imala dugu ispovijed.
She had a long confession.
Za mene je to ostalo
For me, that remained
jedno od najvećih čuda Medjugorja.
as one of the greatest miracles of Medjugorje.
Da bi čovjek odlučio napraviti promjenu,
That a person would decide to make a change for the better.
pa doći u izravan dodir sa svojim
For that to happen, he must come in direct contact with his God
posredovanje njegove majke.
through his mother.
I to je ono što se ovdje u Medjugorju događa već
And
desetljeća.
this is what has been happening here in Medjugorje for decades.
Krenuli na gore, zato da napravimo korak u lošem smjeru.
To take a step in the wrong direction, it's not necessary to have much strength or much resoluteness
Puno pameti.
or much brains.
Se napravi lako.
It's easy to make that.
Napravi korak u onom drugom
But to take a step in the other direction,
početku,
to start beginning,
da se digne
to get up again,
i ponovno iz početka.
and to begin again,
Rade hrabri ljudi.
that is what courageous people do.
To vi radite.
This is what you are doing.
To mi radimo.
This is what we're doing.
Rekla bih da je inicijativa koju smo pokrenuli u Hrvatskoj,
I would say that the initiative that we have
inicijativa
started
obitelji,
in Croatia called In the Name of Family,
učila jako puno mladih ljudi, poput vas.
it is an initiative that has included many young people like you.
U samo 2 tjedna, koliko traži zakon u Hrvatskoj,
Only in 2 weeks, according to the law in Croatia,
mjesta,
in more than 2,000 places,
uz pomoć više od 5.000 volontera,
with the help of more than 5,000 volunteers,
da više od 20% birača u Hrvatskoj
we made it possible that more than 20% of the voters in Croatia
referendum
were able to say that they want a referendum,
Republike Hrvatske,
where in the
viši zakon kome se onda trebaju
In the law of Croatia, according to which all laws need to be governed,
istina,
truth may be placed
zajednica, žena
that marriage is a union between a man and a woman.
i danas jest, brak
Our
je
theme was
žena plus muškarac. Sve
marriage
ostalo
equals
je nešto
man
drugo.
plus woman. Everything else is something else.
Da bi se to postiglo, trebalo se uključiti jako mnogo ljudi.
To accomplish this, many people had to be involved.
Željeli smo podijeliti sa društvom u kojem mi živimo.
When we started this, we wanted to share
A istinu svatko može razumjeti i prihvatiti ako to želi.
in the truth that everyone can accept if they want.
Stalno o slobodi,
Today we continue to listen about freedom and about rights.
slobodni,
But in order to be free,
istinu,
we must have truth.
razliku.
We must know how to differentiate between what is truth and what is a lie.
U ovom vremenu u kojem živimo,
In this time in which we live,
za mene je iznenađujuće.
for me, a surprising time,
Odrastala i mladost koju vi sad živite, živjela u totalitarizmu.
because I grew up in totalitarianism,
Kada bi rekli da
where people went to jail
ne misle politički kako je mislili
if they said that they did not think in a politically different sense than the authorities.
u dobi od 45 godina koji nije bio u zatvoru.
In regime, there was no Catholic priest who was older than 45 years old who was not in jail. In the regime, people were beaten because they thought differently or spoke differently.
Godina nakon što
For me, this is a
živimo u demokraciji
surprise that after 20 years of living in democracy,
sa jednim novim totalitarizmom,
we are facing another totalitarianism,
sa diktaturom relativizma, kako je nazvao.
a dictatorship of relativism, as Pope Benedict called it.
Što činiti u društvu
And what are we to do in society
u kojem se kaže da je istina laž,
where truth
kroz
is proclaimed a lie,
mijenjaju vrijednosti,
where through legal aspects,
zakon društva.
truth is proclaimed a lie? What can we do this? What can any one of us as an individual do?
Možemo leći i pasti u depresiju
One of us is to lie down and fall into depression
i reći da ništa ne možemo.
and to say we can do nothing.
A drugo je da možemo prihvatiti
It's another thing to be able to accept our responsibility,
da ono što vidimo da je istina,
that
živi
what we see as a truth that we may live it.
ljudi u Hrvatskoj.
This is what the youth in Croatia have done. Thousands and thousands of young people in Croatia
Oni su se angažirali
have decided to
i reći što oni misle.
set
Reći
out
ovo sam
and say what they think, to say this is who I am.
da je brak zajednica
I'm saying that marriage is a union between a man and a woman. I am saying, I believe, and it's true, that for a child to be able to grow up into a good and happy individual needs a father and a mother.
da se svi o tome u mom društvu izjasne.
And I have a right to ask everybody else
Kada smo
to clarify themselves on this issue.
proučili smo zakone,
We studied the law
način koristeći zakon, djelujući u
and we saw
zakona, mi kao
of how, working within the framework of the wall, we as the citizens of our country can protect the truth, can protect marriage, children,
javila nam složeni
and family in our country. We have
pronašli
a group of volunteers who were lawyers
u Ustav
who gave us an ability to be able to do this in a legal way. So we entered into the association.
prije nas. I vidjeli što je
We studied all the referendums from before, what was successful in them and what not.
niti jedan narodni referendum.
In 20 years, there was no national referendum that was done.
Dovesti do toga da se o njemu svi građani
No citizen and no citizens were able to have a referendum of
su bile slabe
getting a clarification what is,
snage.
in fact, the opinion.
Sa svim organizacijama
We consulted all of the organizers.
od njih ne dijele naša načela, ni
One of them do not think as we do about marriage,
pričali.
but we spoke of
Oni misle
with all of them and listened to what they think needs to be done to make things better. And several of us sit down and we said,
idemo
let us go ahead.
ono što mi trebamo.
Let us do what we need to do.
I ako ovo uspije,
And if this succeeds, great. If not, we know that at least we did everything that we could so that in our country, in a community that we're responsible for, the truth may be clearly spoken. Let us see what people will say to this truth. In the law of referendums, 10% of the voters have to clarify the issue within 2 weeks.
Da se u Italiji izjasnilo 10 milijuna ljudi u 2 tjedna.
Our 10% would be
20% birača se izjasnio u Hrvatskoj.
We have had more than 20% of the voters clarify their position, which would be more than having a million people in Italy, with regards to percentages, make their situation clear. They recognize the truth and stood by it. Today we heard several excellent witnesses that we need to be who we are. And this initiative is a confirmation that we are to be who we are and what we are. If we are the salt of the earth, what will happen if we lose our Savior? What will happen if we have nothing to give?
Što prvih tjedan dana su mediji ignorirali potpuno to
After the media, for our first week, ignored everything we were doing,
ili su ignorirali ili su ismijavali.
ridiculed it or ignored it,
U samo 7 dana
when only in 7 days, more than 350,000 people,
10% biračkog tijela u Hrvatskoj,
which is 10% of the voters' body, made themselves clear that they started to attack us.
jedan dio je obavljao pošteno svoj posao i profesiju.
A part of them did their work professionally, and the others attacked us. We are now in Croatia in a phase
Hrvatski vlada prebrojava potpise
that the
i ako će se poštivati ustav i zakoni hrvatski,
signatures are being collected,
morat će se
and if
referendum na kojem će svi građani
the law is to be respected, then there has to be a referendum where every single citizen would have to make themselves clear as to whether marriage is a union between between a man and a woman. If they're yes or no, there is no other way of expressing it.
kad nas napadaju govore kako
Oftentimes when we are attacked, we are told how the majority of the countries in the world
nije zajednica žena.
are saying that marriage is not a union between a man and woman, that this is not true. You are here in 60 countries of the world. In 30 countries, there is homosexual union that is permitted for 2 men or 2 women of the same sex to adopt children. In basically all of the countries, this was imposed through various legal means. It wasn't in one of them that the community voted on to say, yes, we want this change, because we see it in the interest of our community. Why is it important to understand that?
Zato što je jedno od stvari koju smo shvatili u toku ove inicijative
Because one of the things we understood during this initiative that we, in fact,
nositelji u našem društvu demokracije.
are the carriers of democracy in our society. We are the ones who guarantee to others
Slobodni i slobodno odabiraju.
who do not
Upravo zato
know that they have the freedom to choose, the freedom.
što mi razumijemo
And we have understood
slobodni izbor
that our free choice
za Boga ili
for God or against Him
u srži svega
is in the essence of everything.
te slobode nema nikakve
That without that freedom, there is no value in anything at all.
vi danas i mi danas ovdje uživamo u prekrasnom pjevanju ovog međunarodnog
Today we are enjoying this most beautiful singing of this choir, of these excellent translations that you're listening to. We are living togetherness, we are feeling good. We have our tents here, and this is good.
Uzimamo ovo vrijeme za, kao što smo čuli od obitelji koje svjedočile, za punjenje baterija.
We are here to fill our batteries, as the family said,
Ono što ćemo raditi
ahead of us. But also what's very important is what we will do
odavde, poziv
when we leave here.
da u društvu u kojem živimo,
Are we carrying with us the call that we may bring truth and light in the community in which we live?
kada sam vidjela
Yesterday I was touched
Sirije,
when I saw the representatives of Syria
je došao ovdje moliti za
who
njegov
said that they came here to pray for the country at war.
u Siriji u kojoj kršćani bježe
Here we are in a Syria where Christians are in persecution.
Mi se nalazimo u zemlji koja se zove Bosna i
We are
Hercegovina.
in a country called Bosnia and Herzegovina, a country that has suffered great war.
Ljudi koji su većinom vaši domaćini ovdje pripadaju narodu
People who are your hosts belong to a Croatian people, for the major part, Catholics,
ovdje žive izdržali najveće gubitke.
who of the three nations living here have suffered the greatest loss. More than 60% of the Croatians from Bosnia and Herzegovina left their homes because of the war and because of the threat of their lives.
Taj narod ovdje u svojoj zemlji
Today, these people
političke predstavnike
here in their own country do not practically have their political representatives.
koji će se održati od 1. do 15.
And
10.2013.
from the 1st to the 15th of October in 2013,
Važno je da ju realiziraju reći
there will be an opportunity for them to express who they are.
ovo je veliki posao ovdje u Bosni i Hercegovini.
This is a great work that needs to be done here in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Ovaj narod.
There's also great work that needs to be done where these people live.
Čilea
Today we have heard the news from Chile,
u Santiago de Chileu demolirana
where the cathedral was demolished in Santiago
grupa koja se
from the aggressive
pobačaja u Čileu.
group that is on the side of abortion in Chile.
Događaju svi
All these things that are happening, or these trends
obljavaju
that are enslaving people, taking away their freedom,
da se mi oko
seek that we set out to do something about them.
obraće.
And each one of us is to choose how to do this.
Jedan naš prijatelj Magnus
One of my friends, Magnus,
Medjugorja,
as the fruit of Medjugorje, started an association that's called Mary's Meals,
koja hrani svaki dan više od 700.000
feeding more than 700,000 youth,
više od 700.000 gladne djece u najsiromašnijim
700,000 hungry children in the poorest countries.
organizaciji
You have
koji donose dobro Bogu,
various associations that you've started for the good of children,
zadovoljavaju
sick,
različite potrebe.
satisfying different needs.
Vam željela staviti na srce
I would like to place in your heart
angažman oko zaštite obitelji
to protect
i širenja istine.
the family, spreading of truth in each of your countries.
Je upravo ovaj put iznošenja neistina o tome što je brak,
Today, in a very special way, there is a lack of truth about what is family, what is marriage,
vjerske
what is
slobode,
parenthood.
pravo izražavanja svoga mišljenja.
We
Imamo
are
ovdje
clearly
predstavnike Kanade u njihovoj zemlji,
being told that we have
varati
the right of speech.
sirotišta koji drže časne
In Canada, we are told that the orphanages have to be closed
davati djecu na usvajanje homoseksualnih
because the nuns will not allow their children to be adopted by homosexual
zajednici muškarce i
couples.
žene koje za to
They want to give priority
oduzima
to
im se pravo da uopće rade.
marriages with a husband and a wife to adopt the children. Because of that, their rights are completely being taken away.
Šta ja mogu reći sa sigurnošću?
What I can say for certainty,
Perspektive
from the perspective
bila prije više od 20
that I was here more than 25 years ago for the first time,
da se bilance života
is that the balance of life is
ne radi se
calculated at the end,
da nam je super,
not at the moment when we are great, not when we are sitting in the shade, blessed that you are in the shade or sitting in the sun. It's not when we are having good time or the most difficult time,
da sve ide krivo,
when everything seems that it's going
da ništa što radi
wrong, that we are minority, that nothing that we do will do. The balance or the
te bilance
accounting of life is at the end. It is always positive,
onda kada
always in the plus.
autentično svoj
When we live authentically our vocation,
postajemo cijeli život
when we become
ono za što nas
with our whole life that what God created us for.
mi odlučujemo
We decide
ćemo taj život
in what way
živjeti.
we are to live that life.
Mi smo pozvani živjeti ga u punini.
We are called to live it in fullness.
Smo čuli i kao što sami znate,
And as we have heard and you know,
sretni cijelu vječnost.
not that we may be happy for eternity,
Sada i ovdje
but that we may be happy here and now.
ste sretni. Tako
Because you are happy, aren't you?
i to na nama je da ovu sreću koju mi osjećamo
It's up to us to have this joy that we feel, this certainty that we are created for eternity,
ovo saznanje da ako živimo u skladu sa učenjem crkve,
This knowledge that we live in accordance with the church and follow our conscience,
ako živimo onako kako znamo da trebamo,
if we live in the way that we know we have to, we need to, that we may be happy, peaceful, that everything around us will turn to the good, then we are to bring this to all those around us. In this society in which we live, we are to commit ourselves to the truth. Desire
dobrom što ćete vi u budućnosti.
all the best for you, for everything that you decide to do in your life in the future. Thank you.
Hvala lijepo Željki,
We thank Jelica very much for this information of faith,
koje vi mladi možete iskoristiti
which you, the youth, can put to good use
državama,
in your countries
birati se, jer
to organize yourselves.
da budemo
Because God sent us to be witnesses not only in the church,
tamo gdje
but the witnesses where we live.
živimo ovaj svijet, da budemo
Because this world is entrusted to us. Because we are to be included in politics, culture, science, sports, and everything else. Once again, Jelica, thank you. We will now hear a song.